What do you say, guys? I got to make sure I'm on the right camera. I did some moving around, did some changing. I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. Tonight we're reviewing two Ibanez guitars. They're both RGA models. This is an RGA42AH and this is an RGA42FM, which stands for Flame Maple. AH, I'm assuming, is ash. So this guitar right here is brand new, right out of the box. I've had it for about a week, and it has the factory setup. I have done absolutely nothing to this guitar. So what I want to do to start with on live reviews, I'm trying to get a little better each time, okay? So the first thing I want to do is I actually want to go to the Ibanez website, and I want to look at what Ibanez claims the specifications are on this guitar. Then of course we're going to do a deep dive on the guitar. So let me go to the Ibanez site. Okay, we can see right here, they are saying that this is a Wizard 3 neck. It has an ash top and a Maserati body. So that's in the mahogany family. It's a little cheaper than standard mahogany. It's like a Honduras type mahogany, but it is in the mahogany family. We have a Jatoba fretboard, jumbo frets. We have 24 frets. Okay, on this guitar. The bridge on the guitar is an F106 bridge. It is a fixed bass bridge. Our string spacing is 10.5. That's the distance between the strings in the saddles. Okay, this is quantum pickups, which is a passive ceramic pickup in the neck and in the bridge. Factory tuning is set to E standard. Now this guitar right now is tuned 1/2 step down. Factory strings, D'Addario EXL 110s, and it is 10 to 46 from the factory, and the hardware color is black. They're saying the scale is 25.5. We have a 43-inch nut, and the width at B, which is the base, they're saying 58 millimeters. The thickness at the first, which is 19. Now, if you remember correctly, we did an Ibanez gem about a month ago, and they were off 1 millimeter at the first and also at the 12th. They're claiming that this neck is 21 millimeters at the 12th, and the radius is 400 millimeters. You know, my conversion in my memory is not too good. That's either a 12 or a 14. So that's what they're claiming right now. That's what we're gonna kind of start with. And if you're familiar with the channel, no, I have not bought an actual bench yet. So I'm gonna unplug the guitar. I'm gonna turn off our little amplifier here. We are using a THR10 tonight, coming right out of the headphone jack into the interface. So like we do most of the guitars on the channel, I want to go over the general fit and finish on the guitar and the finish itself, what they've done. The two guitars are completely different, okay? This guitar here has a matte finish, and it feels smooth. I can feel a little bit of the grain in it, but it's a matte finish, okay, on this guitar, on both sides. And I do feel the grain. So they have not filled the grain on this guitar. So you can feel it. Now the finish on this one is a little different. This is almost like a raw type finish. It does have a seal coat on it. But right here where you can see the grain, I can actually feel the variation between here and here. It's really smooth. And then I can feel that grain feel. It almost feels like when you finish sand a product and you put a sealer on it, sometimes it'll raise the grain a little bit. It kind of has that feel. So as I run my hand across it, I can feel every one of these ribs. It's a real pretty stain because it gets dark in these sections and it almost gets like a little tan in these harder sections. It's very pretty, but I can feel it. So if you're wanting something that has like a smooth urethane type finish, like a polished finish, this is not it. You're probably going to want to go more towards the matte type finish. It's a more sealed product, if that makes sense. So I'm going to keep referring back and forth because even though they're the same model, the finishes are completely different. As I put my hand around the edge, I can feel the end grain because the grain's going this way. When I get into this, I can feel that variation. They have not filled those pores in the wood grain. That's why I'm pointing it out. Especially where the grain comes straight through. You can feel it more in those areas. This guitar, the blue one, is more finished as far as the way they've sealed off the end grain. Both guitars have a white binding, okay? And I've already looked at both of them. The blue one is almost perfect, okay, as far as the binding. This one does have a little bit of an issue right here, okay, and I'm assuming they cut the binding here to make this sharp point, and a little bit of the filler went into that, okay. So I see a little line right there in the corner. I don't see it on the top, but I'm assuming they gouged that out to make that sharp turn. Feeling it to the body, it has been sanded and evenly cut to the body. It's not protruding out anywhere. There's no kooky corners. I don't see any gouges in the binding as far as the way it's set into the body. Both of them are really good. It's just this one that does have a little spot right there. And I apologize for sniffling. I've been outside working the past 3 or 4 days. Now, the back of the guitar does have 3 pieces of wood. We have a piece here, piece here, piece here. And we have the furls, okay? And the furls are pushed down to the outer ring. They're not pushed down flush, so they do protrude outside the body. And the low E furl is set back just a little bit. We do have 4 bolts holding the neck on. There are furls, and those are all set below the body. And these are panhead screws. Now, feeling the shoulder and the bore where the furl is, that's a sharp corner there. But it is nicely done. There's no chips. It's nicely done. It's nice and smooth right here. They have beveled this. You can see right here. It's got a very large contour right there. So let's look at that gauge. Here's a 1/2 inch. Wow, it's more than a 1/2 inch. I'm going to say that's probably a 3/4 inch round over right here in this cut. Everywhere else, I'm not even, I know it's not 1/8 of an inch. 1/16. No. So all they've done around this edge is all they've done is broken the edge. So it's not a sharp edge. They've just broken it. Most companies will do that. It prevents chipping. We do have a slight concave right here where they've chamfered in for access. We also have a belly carve. But this part of the body right here is completely flat. Also on this guitar there's a spot right here. And I'm assuming that debris got in the finish when it was clear coated. So there's a little dust got in the finish right there. This guitar here has no dust or anything at all in the body. It's completely smooth. Exact same setup as that guitar. So finish wise, there's 2 errors on this one, 0 on this one. Looking at our cover plates, there's a little bounce right here. They do have 4 screws in the electronics, and then 2 screws in this one. And this cover here is just access to the jack. Only 2 screws. And there's just a little deflection in the plates. So I'm gonna assume that this is a 1-ply plastic. Flipping the guitar over, looking at the routes. It's nicely routed. The spacing's very consistent. And they have not broken the edge in the route, so that's a sharp corner. Checking the pickups. They both bounce back. This pickup here does lean forward just a little bit. We do have a fixed bridge. Now this is the Ibanez bridge. And I've been playing the blue one. There's absolutely nothing sharp on the bridge. Something a lot of your cheaper guitars will do, they will not change the screw size in these saddles. So some will stick up more than the others and some set in. All these screws have been, I guess, ground a little bit from the factory because they all set up exactly the same on the saddles. And of course there is an arc there and this plate is flat. So they've done something there. But none of these screws are sharp and they all set almost perfectly flush to the top side of the saddle. The edges of the saddles are broken. And we have a broken corner here. Feeling the screws on the back. Yeah, it's a nice bridge. It's not a high mass bridge. It is a low mass bridge, probably a zinc or a metal, just a standard bridge. But I have not had any issues with this one or this one. In both of them, the screw sets and everything are exactly the same. There's nothing sharp. This would 100% pass the sock test. There's no issues whatsoever with the bridge. Now, something I noticed when playing the guitar, when you look down it, if you look at the 2 knobs here, the body's contoured, okay? So when you look at the 2 knobs, they kind of point in different directions. This one's kind of going like that and this one's kind of going like that. I'm being picky, but if you look down them, there is a slight angle variation between the 2 knobs. Both guitars are exactly the same. Feeling the pots. The volume pot has just a little bit more friction to it, I guess, than the tone. The tone is more frictionless, you know. It spins freely, more freely than the volume. They both feel extremely smooth. Neither one of them are touching down on the body. The same with this guitar. So the knobs are set at the correct height. They both have gnarled steel knobs. So when you feel it, you know, it's cool now. It's coming into fall. So when you feel it, you can tell that it's a metal knob. You know, you can feel the temperature difference in it. And the gnarling feels nice. It's a quality knob. When you spin it, it doesn't feel cheap. It feels nice. Looking at our 5-way switch here. The 5-way switch in both guitars has a very positive feel. When it clicks, you can hear it. It has a very solid engagement. It feels nice. In the center position, there is some side-to-side play. I'm going to say it's at least 3/32 of an inch playroom back and forth. Same in the second and fourth position. Yep, it's consistent in all positions. The 2 screws holding the switch in, it's not sharp. And they are stuck out above the body, so they have not used like a bugle head screw that flushes out. It's 2 mushroom head screws, and that's fine. It looks nice. Now, our pickups do have Allen poles, so you can get in there with an Allen tool and you can adjust the poles if you want to add more mid or take some mid out or add some high or add some low. You can do that with these. Going down the neck, both of these guitars, the back of the neck is very nice. They're both consistent. Okay? Is it butter smooth? I'm not going to say it's butter smooth, but they feel smooth. It has a satin finish on it. I don't think I'd want any more finish than this on it. This is, when I feel a neck like this, I know if I hit it with some 3000 grit or 2500 grit sandpaper and I just lightly go over the neck, that's perfect for me. That's what I like. And you can see that it does have just a little bit of a sheen to it, so it's like a matte, but it feels smooth. Both guitars feel the exact same way. So we're going over consistency here. Both these guitars were made at different production runs. This is a brand new release, and this was on the last production run. They've been making the blue now for about 2 or 3 years. So I know they're 2 different production runs, so Ibanez is doing a good job keeping the production quality from run to run consistent. And that's the difference between a company like Ibanez and some of your other budget guitars that are ordering fewer or going to a different manufacturer each time a production run is made. They've got this guitar down to a science. They've been making it for a while. The tooling is set up for it. The plant that's making it, they've got it down. It's a well-made guitar. Feeling our Jatoba fretboard to the maple neck. I do not feel the same. It feels very nice. Feeling our fret ends to the neck. Again, this guitar would pass the sock test. Worst case scenario, I would give it a 4.5. I don't think it would snag it. They all feel very smooth. Now the top finish on the frets, when I first got it, it was a little scratchier than this one. The frets are polished, so when you first get the guitar it may have not a super glass feel. I've been playing it just for a week and they already feel great. I play all over the neck, so I don't have an issue like playing in one spot it'll get glossier here. It didn't take long, and that could be one of those things where maybe coming over something got on the fret. I don't know, but I noticed it with both guitars. But the frets, when you look at it, I don't know if that's going to show up in the light, they do have a nice sheen to them, but they're not super polished. The fret ends is what I call a basic dressing, but it's done well. When I look at the guitar like this, I see a very sharp moon. So that means they haven't done a lot of a chamfer on the back, not the chamfer this way to the neck, but when they dress the end of the fret, that chamfer going around. It's a small one, but it's enough to where the frets feel nice, if that makes sense. Remember, this is a sub $500 guitar. I did look on Reverb before doing the review, and I saw 2 blue ones and a black one, brand new, for $429. The cheapest I saw this one was $479, and I found some open box for $398. Okay, so that's a heck of a price point for a guitar like this. Going up here, feeling our tuners. I do like the tuners. Are they super high quality tuners? No, they're not. But I haven't had an issue with either guitar. And if you watch the channel, you know that on this one, I got really good at just dropping down to drop C, drop D, and then bringing it right back up. Okay, the tuners feel smooth, but it does take a little effort to turn them. So they're not like effortless. You know, some of your real high-end tuners, you look at them and you can turn them, but yet they're very stable. These tuners take a little bit to turn, but they do feel smooth. They don't slip either. I play pretty hard, and I haven't had any tuning stability issues from the tuner. I haven't had any tuning stability issues, period. Both guitars, the nut's cut well on both guitars. I've already checked that one. So, and that's another good sign. When I overbend and stuff, the strings don't hang up on the nut. It's well done. Both guitars also have this door that swings down, so you can adjust the truss rod there. And it is a dual action truss rod in this guitar. We also have a shiplap joint in the back. And I do like how they did the dots. The dots are on the top instead of right down through the center. It's something different. We also actually have some placement dots on the top. And then we have two basic strap locks. Looking down the neck, this is very important. How well was the neck set to the body and aligned to the bridge? The strings on the high E and the low E both follow the neck perfectly. So the set on the neck to the strings is good. Now let's check, was the neck pocket right? So it is aligning with the bridge. But now let's look at this gap right here and see if they've had to do something funny. And the gap is consistent. You look at the other one. Yeah. The tolerance in that neck pocket is beautiful. It's tight. There's no crack whatsoever between the body and the neck. Looking in here, if there is a shim in the pocket, it's going to be a very small shim because it appears to be tight. Now something I do like Ibanez is doing here, notice this flat spot in the neck doesn't go all the way up here. They have sanded the neck, and all they've done is left about a 3/32 of an inch flat from the body to where it starts to ramp into the neck. I do like that. That takes a little extra time to do, and they've done it. It looks nice. So I'm going to give the overall fit and finish on both guitars an A. I give that one an A+. This one gets an A- due to the spot here and the little spot on the back. It happens. That's why we're looking at two of them, two different production runs. So I'd say all in all, it's a heck of an instrument. Okay, 400mm I believe is what they said the neck radius was. So I've got that's a 15, and I know what you guys are. Oh my gosh, he's going to go through that. Part of the fun of doing reviews like this is not knowing. So there's a 12 and a 14. So I'm going to try 14 first. For some strange reason, 14 is what I'm thinking. 400mm. 14. The gauge is touching both sides of the neck, and there's a little gap in the center. It's not a 14. And the exact same. So it might be a 15. For some strange reason, I'm getting deja vu. I think this translates to like 15 something. Here's a 15. I know I have a 16. Here's a 16. So let's look at our 15. I am just barely seeing a little black in the center of the gauge. That's a 15, so let's look at our 16. It's touching in the center, and I see just a little black out on the ends. So I'm going to say it's like 15 and a quarter, 15 and a half, somewhere in that ballpark. If I'm wrong, someone please post what the translation to 400 millimeters actually is. But that's what my gauges are telling me. So now I want to look at the factory neck relief. How was this guitar set up from Ibanez as I received it? So I'm going to move it to where I can see. We do have a little bit of neck relief. I'm going to say like maybe 0.1, maybe 0.2 millimeters of relief. We can also check it like this. I'm going to fret the first note, take my pinky. And that's telling me about 0.2. Either way you do it, if you do this, when you push on it, it does create an arc in the string. Okay? So this string is not completely flat. When you push on it, that string actually has a little bit of an arc there. So you have to deduct just a little bit when you're doing that. This here, it's very hard to tell, but it's riding against the wood, and if there's any errors in the sanding, it'll also show. So if you use both methods, it'll get you in the ballpark. Okay, let's loosen the strings. And let's actually double check what Ibanez claims the widths and everything are. Of course, we'll retune the guitar before we play it. Alright, top 3 strings are loose. I zero my calibers. At the very top, we're going to measure the nut. I have 42.67, which translates in inches 1.6795. At our 12th, we have 53.20 millimeters, or 2.0945 inches. And our very last fret is 58.25 millimeters, which in inches is 2.293. Now we are measuring the neck, so any variation between the sanding here on the fret and the edge of the fingerboard, that will show. So now, let's go back and double check what they're claiming here. They're claiming the thickness at the first is 19 millimeters and 21 millimeters at the 12th. So on our first fret, this one's coming in at 19.12. In inches, it's 0.7525. So that's pretty close. Let's check our 12th. And at the 12th we have 21.18. Again, pretty close. And that translates in inches to 0.8345. So looking at where the neck actually gets thick on the guitar, Well, it's way down in there. So 13, 14, 15. So right at the 16th fret. So they have extended that back a little bit by doing that. Usually it's the 14th, between the 14th and 15th. So they have thinned that neck back as far as they can. That's nice. I like that. Okay, I'm going to put a little tension back on the strings before we get into looking at the actual electronics. Give it time to stretch a little bit. This is the lovely part of doing live reviews. You get to watch all the things that normally either get sped up or cut out. Hopefully I have a screwdriver up here. I do. Okay. Actually, before we do that, let's get some pickup readings, guys. Now, let's take a look at what they're claiming the pickup switching system is. So here's our pickup switching system. So in our first position, we have the humbucker. Second position is the bridge humbucker wired in series. Third position is both humbuckers. Fourth position is the inner coils of both humbuckers, just the inner coils. And then in the fifth position, we have our neck humbucker. All right, we're going to start at 20k ohms. We're going to start at our bridge. Our tone and our volume is all the way up. So at 20k ohms, our quantum pickup is reading 8.51. When we switch to our second position, well actually let's just do the Henrys and everything together. So our humbucker is 8.51. Inductance is 3.84, which is less than half. Now our humbucker wired in series is 2.02. 0.85 inductance in Henrys. Center position, which is both humbuckers, we have 4.02. Our inductance is coming in at 1.87. Our two inner coils, just these two coils here, 20k ohm is 1.90. Henrys, or an inductance, is dancing between 0.89 and 0.90 on our Henrys. 20k ohm just on the neck, we have 7.52. And our Henrys and our inductance is coming in at 3.37. I think everyone's heard it before. Once you go past half, that's a pretty good indication that they have lessened the wire and used stronger magnets. I still think they're doing that on these pickups. Okay, these are stronger magnets with a little less winds, but they're not cheap. Okay, when you start seeing that other number creep up past that, they're really cutting the windings down. I actually like the sound of the Quantums. They have a nice gainy sound, and they also clean up pretty well. Okay, let's flip the guitar over. Whoop. Let's get my little towel back up. We do want to look at the electronics. Now on a full review, I have an overhead camera. We do not have an overhead camera, so I am just going to hold the guitar up. I do have a camera right there that I did reposition, so we might be able to get some halfway decent shots with that camera. As the channel grows, we will make changes. And if you don't know, the channel is funded by Super Chats. That's how we buy things. Not only does the Super Chat kind of buys microphones and stuff, we also give a guitar away every other month. This month it's a Jet JS500. So if you want to enter to win that Jet, you can go to our Discord and go to the opt-in room and say, I'd like to enter the free guitar giveaway. You have to be publicly subscribed to the channel. That way Devastator can verify that you are a subscriber. And that's it. You could win a free Jet. Looking at our electronics. Now I'm going to turn on our other camera here. You can see that's very nicely done. Got a zip tie in there. It's very nice and neat. I like seeing that. If they take the extra time, put a zip tie in it, means they care. We do have dime size pots. We have the small pots. They are Hong pots. I see the H. And I'm looking for, they are 500K. Looking at our cap, it's set in such a way I really can't see. I see the writing, but I can't make it out. Looking at our solder joints, the ground connection on both pots, extremely shiny, and it's not flat. It's an actual ball. Believe me, I do a lot of soldering. To get a joint that's shiny like that, that has a dome, that didn't outflow, that's hard to do. It's a good quality joint, and it also means they didn't get the pot super hot. If you see a large puddle and it's kind of flat, they got the pot very hot when they did that. We do have a PC switch. I kind of figured at this price point it would be a printed circuit switch. Looking at the solder joints on that. Looks good. Now I'm trying to see where the end of the pickup wire is. I don't want to cut the end. Everything looks really nice. They've tinned the ground all the way up. The wire's going to the pot. They didn't get it overly hot where it shrunk the PVC wrapping. It's nicely done. Looking at the route in here, I do see some chatter marks right here. It's not bad. And I can see where the machine went down and come through. So this is the exit before it retracted out. I do not see any step over marks. And the bottom of the pocket is one plane, so there's no step down marks. If you're curious on the depth, let's say you bought this guitar and you wanted to put push pulls on it, the depth of the route is 35.29. So you definitely have enough room in there to put a Barnes push-pull pot. And I say Barnes because it's taller. The CTS pots are definitely shorter. And looking at the side of the routes to the dime-size pots, you also have room to put full-size pots in the guitar. So that would not be an issue. Let's look at our next one since we're tearing everything apart. Wow, nicely done. We do have some shielding on both covers. Very clean. Let me again turn on the other camera so you guys can see this. This is extremely clean. Very, very clean. If you ever decided to do EMGs, there's also plenty of room in these cavities to run a 9-volt, or you could actually do a 3-cell lithium LiFePAK pack battery, depending on which one. I wouldn't do lithium polymer, but a LiFePAK pack like a LiFo4, there's definitely enough room in here to do a LiFo4 pack. That's what I would use. The day of 9-volt batteries are pretty much gone. You can use LiFe's and it's not going to leak out on all over your guitar either. Okay, let's reassemble this thing. First thing I want to look at, and you're going to laugh at me, I just put that cover in that direction. Now I want to take the cover off and I want to switch it 180 degrees. That means whoever programmed this route, these are not in the center, okay? These bore holes are not in the center. They have all set them equally to the route, so you can orient this 180 degrees out of whack and the holes still align. Little things like that I pay attention to, because that tells me the programmer knows what he's doing. Does anyone else really pay attention to that? Probably not. Not until you get a guitar that they didn't think about that and you put the cover in it and you go, oh, the holes don't align. You got to take the cover off, flip it around. You're like, well, what's the big deal with that? It's not. It's just, I know by looking at that they had forethought. The covers also fit really well. If you noticed that I had to pick them just a little bit, and they lay in the guitar nice. So the covers and the routes are nicely done. It is a 1-ply plastic though. A 3-ply plastic would be much more, well, it wouldn't deflect as much. But I know $1,400, $1,500, and $1,600 guitars that use 1-ply covers. So I'm not picking on Ibanez for using a 1-ply plastic here. And if you don't know and you're stripping screws, I use a Japanese industry standard screwdriver, and that's what we're using right now. You can tell. If you can't do that, you are using the wrong screwdriver. These are import guitars. They use metric hardware. This particular screwdriver is a 550A P.2.100 JSI. Okay. I guess now what we need to do is tune this thing up. And I am going to tune it to 440 standard tune. Right now, like I said, we're tuned down a step. The reason I'm going to tune it up is I want to check the intonation. wouldn't be fair to check the intonation down a half step because they should be setting it to 440 according to the website. Close enough. We can do micro adjustments as we go. Okay, you can see my tuners right there. It's better for you guys to see, so I'm going to have to lean over to kind of pay attention to what it's doing. So here's our low E. Low E on the 12th. That's really good. Low E, first fretted note. So you can see our F is just a fraction sharp. There's our A. There we go. That is spot on. First fretted note. That A sharp is just a fraction sharp. There's our D. Falling off just a little bit. There we go. And our D falls off just a little bit. This is a very sensitive tuner. That's really good actually. First fretted note. Our D sharp is just a fraction sharp. Here's our G. Twelfth. And there's our first sharp note. There's our G. So our G is just a fraction sharp. First fretted note. And our G sharp is just a fraction sharp. So by adjusting that saddle back, that would definitely bring that into position. Is that setting bad? I've seen a lot worse. So there's our B. Just a fraction sharp. First fretted note. First fretted note is spot on. There's our E. E on the 12th. Just a fraction flat. It's falling off. First fretted note. The setup on this guitar, as far as the intonation, is really good. Now, I'm trying to remember to do everything, guys. Let's check our action height from the factory. So, action height from the factory on the 12th, I'm going to say is 0.065. High E, I'm going to say is 0.070. Just a fraction above, probably 0.072, somewhere in that ballpark. And I made the comment the other day that I thought the higher string was a little high. It's not that I haven't seen that, but it's rare that the high E is just a fraction higher off the fretboard than the low E. So in metric, on the 12th, I'm going to say we have 1.80. And I'm going to say like 1.82. Someone can do the math and see how close I read gauges, but I'm usually pretty good at that. It's hard to look at two because you're always jumping measurements. So if it falls in between, you just got to kind of look at it and do an approximation. That's pretty close. Okay, guys, we have two different guitars here. So let's get a weight on these guys. So our scale right now is 0. It's on pound ounces. So the one with the ash top weighs 6 pounds, 4 ounces even. And in grams, that's 2,836 grams. So 6.4 ounces. Let's grab our blue one. Wow. The blue one's coming in at 5 pounds, 9.6 ounces. Which translates to 2,542 grams. These guitars, very light. Another reason why I like the guitar. Alright. If you know the channel, we're going to take a 5-minute recess. This also allows you, the viewer, to tell me if I missed something. Because everyone knows we try to go over everything. The only thing I can think of that we are missing is fret rockering. When we come back from our break, we are going to take this brand new out of the box RGA and we're going to check the fret level on this guitar. And it's there for you guys. Go get a drink, hit the restroom. I understand these videos are highly detailed. It takes a little time to do a review on these guitars. I try to cover as much information as I possibly can. My goal is to do the absolute best review on YouTube. Okay? That's the goal of this channel. It's also the goal of this channel to give you honest opinions of these products. So far, this guitar and the blue one are well-made instruments. Now we want to check Ibanez and see how well their lower tier guitars, how well did they do the fret leveling. So go ahead, go to the kitchen, get yourself a snack, get a drink, hit the restroom, and we'll be right back in about 5 minutes. One of these days I'm going to learn the buttons on OBS, and I won't go from the Saturday night brake scene to the other scene to the right scene. I'm going to figure it out eventually. So if you can't tell, I got my fret rockering tool. I think this is the last thing that we need to do. No one has said that we've missed anything. So I'm going to go through with the fret rocker and double check the frets. Now when I fret rocker, I'm going to apply pressure to both sides of the fret rocker. And that's what you have to do to make sure that you have it right. Now I have seen comments in the past, people talk about unless the neck is perfectly straight, it doesn't read properly. The fret rocker is only checking this amount of maximum space. This whole neck from here to here only has like 0.2 millimeters of relief. And that is undetectable with a small tool like this. Is it detectable when you put a straight edge all the way across? Yes, it's about 0.2 millimeters. But in this distance, you're not going to have to worry about it. So unless you have a tremendous amount of neck relief, you can use a fret rocker and see if you have a high fret. Just keep that in mind. So I'm going to start right here. And I would say I would go into squirrel mode, but since there is no squirrel mode, you guys will just have to deal with the slow action of me going through and checking all these frets. Both guitars play extremely well, so I'm not expecting anything horrible. But I will say this, I have reviewed guitars that had high and low frets that still played well. And if you watch this channel, you know which guitar I'm talking about. They consistently, on both models that I did a review on, had high and low frets, but the guitar still played well. So a lot of you now are probably thinking, well, why are you checking it? It tells me consistency in manufacturing and how much pride they're putting into the guitar. The low fret is the one that you want to watch out for, because if you have a low fret, that means you have to file down all the frets to equal that low fret. A high fret here or there you can clean up pretty easily, and it's not a lot of work. Right there, just when I mean ever so slight, there's a ever so slight spot right there. And it's below the A. Yeah, dead center below the A. Most people would call that good, but I am pointing it out. There is just a slight rock right there. And it's only detectable, you'll notice when I find a spot, I'll move the fret rocker back and forth like this, because sometimes you'll get a misreading if you're not holding the fret rocker right. So you'll notice that I'll move the fret rocker back and forth and put it on its edge and then lay it flat. I want to double check that I'm not holding the fret rocker wrong. It's almost as bad as watching paint dry. We still do recorded reviews here, but the live review, I think, carries a little bit of weight, if that makes sense. A lot of you have said that you like the initial first, impression that I have when I see something. I'm going to say there's a spot right there. It's right between the high E and the B. Yeah. Again, most people wouldn't call that one. That's less than the one up there, but both spots are pretty much non-existent. You can get that much just from polishing error. And if you're familiar with this channel, you know that I am just stupid picky. But there are people here that have played some of my guitars that I've worked on. And I take a lot of pride in my fret leveling, because I know it's what makes the guitar. The fretwork is what makes the guitar. How the frets feel, how the back of the neck. The neck is the most important thing on your guitar. So having nice fretwork, good even, leveled frets with nice dressing, in my opinion, is key to the guitar. I can deal with other imperfections if they get the neck and stuff right. I'm going to go back and double check that fret because my thumb was getting sore. And that's our first spot right there that I would say someone would actually call. So 23rd fret, dead center. All the way from the center to the bottom of the A string. So I'm going to call this fret a little under half of it right here. And I'm looking at the edge of the fret to see if I see a black line. And I actually do see a little black right here. So odds are you could take a caul or a nice brass hammer and just kind of tap this down a little bit. You want to be careful not to create damage to the fret. Would I fix it? I would probably do something with that fret, just me. Would you have to fix it? It's so close to the upper end of the bridge, I don't think that that fret would cause a problem. But as picky as I am, I would address that fret. That's the only one that I see. And it's good right here. But right there in the center, that's where it starts. And it's not a lot, but it is present. So I'm going to say 1 fret and 2, I'm just being stupid picky. All in all, I'd say the fretwork on the guitar is superb. The guitar plays well. I didn't expect to find anything horrible with it. Okay. We are to the point now where everyone wants to kind of hear this thing. If you're new and you're just dropping in, this is the first review you've seen by this channel. We do highly detailed reviews here. And the point in that is to offset all the other YouTube channels that just plug the guitar in and jam away on the guitar. We'll say we do more of the meat and potatoes here. But we also want you to know what the guitar sounds like. So, of course, everybody wants to know what the guitar sounds like clean. Okay, that is our clean channel. We are using just a little bit of chorus and a little echo reverb. We are using a THR10 coming right out of the headphone jack, right over to my interface, right into your computer. So that's our bridge. Let's turn it back a little bit. Let's roll our tone back just a little bit. So I'm going to do about 25%. A little bit more. A little bit more. So you can hear it gets quite dark with the tone. That's all the way down. Right now I'm just giving it little turns. Now let's check our volume, see how linear it is. And you can tell there is no tone bleed in this circuit because as I'm turning the volume down, it's losing its bright edge. So that's another trick you can do, and it'll sound different than rolling your tone back. So I got the volume all the way up. So I'm going to cut the tone back a little bit. Tone all the way up, volume back a little bit. So keep that in mind. If it's a little bright, you can roll your volume back a little bit. You don't lose that much gain, but it'll take the edge off. Let's go up to our second position. And if you remember, our second position is our humbucker here wired in series. Our third position, that's going to be our two inner coils. And you can hear the second position in parallel mode. There's definitely a gain drop. This is our second position. So keep that in mind as well. Our fourth position, actually our third position is both humbuckers. I'm sorry. In our fourth position, this is the two center coils. I apologize. So this is our two center coils. In our fifth position, which is just our neck pickup. Now let's actually play something. Instead of just beating around on some chords, let's hear what it actually sounds like if we actually play. Cut our gain back just a little bit. Play through your mistakes. If you didn't notice, that was a mistake. I just played through it. Here's our second position. I like the second position, but there's a big gain drop, volume drop in that position. Here's our position number 3. Position 4, 2 center pickups or coils. Again, a volume difference, but I do like the sound of the second and fourth position. Here's our fifth position. It's good sounding pickups. So let's go to our crunch channel. Second position. Third position. Fourth position. Fifth position. I like the sound of those pickups. They have a nice breakup. If you dig into them, they take pick attack and the way you play really well. That's what I like about the second position, but you do have to gain it up a little bit. So if we gain up the second position, fourth position. They're very dynamic. So let's go up to our next position. This is the lead position. Second position. I think the pickups come to life a little bit when you add a little gain to them. Third position, I'm going to cut the master back a little bit because we did gain it up just a little bit for the second and fourth position. Fourth position. Fifth position. It's pretty nice sounding. Fourth position. Third position. Second position. First position. You can hear the first position's got a little bit more, you can dig in a little more. Good sound. Let's go up to our special channel. We are in the bridge position, and I'm going to do what I always do. I think it gives you an idea. If you go back and watch other reviews, I try to play basically the same thing. That way you can hear the differences in the guitar. It's effortless to get pinch harmonics out of both of these guitars. That was the main reason why I loved Linnell's RGA. Everyone plays guitar a little different. I'm not telling you if you buy this guitar it's going to be instant pinch harmonics. For my playing style and where it's natural for me to rest my arm and play this guitar, they just come out naturally. I have a lot of different guitars. Guitars that cost 3 and 4 times more money than this guitar. This guitar does this probably the best of any guitar in the house. The guitar screams. It really does. I can't express it enough. It's a well playing guitar. So let's go up to our second position in the high gain mode. It's kind of quacky in that second position. Let's go up to our third position. Fourth position. 5th position. All in all, I'd say it's a great guitar. And I can say that because I've played more than just these two. When I go to my local store, which is Shandor Music, and I'll shout out to those guys, I went in, you know, this guitar, I believe map price is $479. Got a little discount, you know. I know what I can ask for. You know, they want my business. Go into your local music store. Like I said, I checked reverb. $429 is what I saw on one of these, and a gray one. It's a good price. It's a solid instrument. Good pickups, good electronics, good tuning keys, good fretwork. I've played many of these, and they all play really well. This guitar, the setup's really good. The only issue that I have with the setup on this one is I think the B and the E need to come down just a little bit. And I noticed that as soon as I played it. I don't remember the factory setup on this guitar. I'm sure that I did adjust the saddles a little bit on that one. But I wanted to play this one out of the box and check it out of the box. I've been playing Linnell's now for probably 5 months. They're just a solid guitar. It's well worth the asking price. If you know the channel, okay, you know this channel is about product information. In this case, we are looking at 2 Ibanez RGAs. This is an RGA42AH, and this is an Ibanez RGA42FM, which stands for flame maple, and this one, of course, ash. This one's a little heavier than that one, not too much, just a little. Still, you know, very light guitars. But if you know the channel, it's about product information. If you bought one of these guitars and you had a completely different experience, I need you to post down below. You bought one and you had issues. That's what the comment section's about. That's what I want people to come in and post comments, okay? Because people looking at this guitar review, considering about buying this instrument, they're going to go down there and they're going to read those comments. So if you had a different experience, please post. If you had a similar experience and you own one of these guitars and you love the guitar, yours come out just like this one, great fretwork, good fit and finish, sounds good, you know, you love the guitar, need to hear from you as well, because those comments will also help somebody. If I missed anything in this review, or I made an error in this review on any specification, that's what the comment section's for. It needs to be corrected. If I'm wrong, you, the viewer, can put in the comment section, hey, this is this spec or that spec, you misread it. I'm only human. I tried to do as best as I possibly could to give you a detailed review on this instrument. Okay, if you haven't already, I need you to hit the like button and consider subscribing. That's the big thing. We're trying to grow the channel, and if you look up in the corners and down here, it'll say we are trying to grow the channel. We're on our way to 2,400. So go down, hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell and hit all. I promise I'm not going to blow up your, inbox with a bunch of videos. We do 2 lives a week and usually 1 video a week, give or take. So please do that for me. Now we want to get to questions that were, given during the review. I am recording this on OBS, so hopefully I'll be able to edit this section out and for future people, or I can edit it out in YouTube. Well, who knows? Maybe this will be something that we add to all the reviews. So if you don't know, the Funny Honey is going to read some questions, and I'm going to try to answer them about the guitar. So what's the first question?
What is a shiplap joint in a guitar neck?
Okay, shiplap. I am going to turn on the camera right here. And I want you to see this seam right here. Can you see that? So essentially, I'll go back to this one. Essentially, there's a cut in the neck right here. Okay? So the grain goes this way, and then this piece of wood, the grain's going this way. So they glue this part of the headstock onto this seam, and it creates like a little pie shape in the neck. I have never had a shiplap joint fail, and it makes this headstock section right here extremely strong because the grain is not going like this in that section where it's thin. The grain is going this way. And now you have from here all the way to here as a bond joint.
You have a comment saying that's a scarf joint, not a shiplap.
Yeah, scarf joint. Some people do call it a scarf joint. Yeah, I always called it a shiplap. It's basically about a 65-degree angle pitch put on it, and it's glued together. So if you want to call it a scarf joint, shiplap joint, that's essentially what it is. It's 2 pieces of wood that have been mended together. I believe that it is a better joint than a single piece. If that makes sense, it's a little stronger. The next over this would be like a 3-piece, where they take 3 pieces of wood and they glue it together. Okay, that's more stable. I don't live in a climate where I've ever had any issues. I have had people say that the scarf joint or shiplap joint moves more. I don't have that issue here. I have some Kramers that don't have this joint that's made out of a 1-piece neck, and those necks seem to be the worst as far as moving is concerned. I haven't had any problems with Linnell's guitar, and we just went through a change of season, and I have not adjusted the truss rod on that guitar, where I have on my Kramers. My Schecter, it has not moved, but that's a 5-piece neck on that. So keep all that in mind, but that's what it is. It's a glue joint in the back of the neck. And there's probably another name for it. There's many different names for different joints. So what's our next question?
It was more of a comment. Your 400 millimeter equaled 15.75.
Yeah. I think I said 15.5 or something. I think we went over this once before where they had put it in millimeters. It might have been the gym review or something that I did. I don't have that gauge, so all I have is my standard StewMac gauges. So again, we just have to kind of guess. But I want to thank whoever, actually did if you looked it up or if you had a calculator and you figured it up and you posted it. Stuff like that helps, just like a scarf joint. Yep, that's probably a more accurate term than a shiplap that I use. Scarf joint, that's fine. That's what we need, because I want the information to be correct, if that makes sense. That's what it's about. It's not about someone's ego or anything else. I just want the information correct. I want people to trust the channel to come in here and get good product information, if that makes sense. Okay, we got another one?
The Schecter has carbon rods too, doesn't it?
Yes, the Schecter is 100%. It has not moved. And I bring that up because, again, I haven't adjusted Linnell's guitar. So I'm hoping this guitar will be as stable as hers has been. Don't know yet because this one just literally come home. So when spring comes, I'll get a good feel for how this one moves. Yeah, I would say this guitar is still acclimating to the house. It's only been here a week. Sometimes it can take a month for a product to acclimate and season in and the moisture. Our humidifier here is set at 45 to 50%, so it can go as low as 45 and as high as 50 before the humidifier or dehumidifier cuts on. But I haven't had problems with fret sprout, okay? So a lot of people go, well, that's not enough humidity. I haven't had an issue at 45 to 50%. So like I said, our system will add water and also take water out of the air. So that's what we have it set at. Do we have another one?
And what was the neck radius?
Neck radius was, someone just posted, it was 400 millimeters, so that translated to 15.75, I believe is what the first comment said, right? Was
Yeah,
it?
400 millimeters, 15.75.
Yeah, 15.75, and it's non-compound, so it's that radius all the way across on the neck.
That would be all the comments, questions.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you guys, you got just a couple more seconds to last question. I believe everyone already knows. I feel that this is a great guitar for the money. Should you pay full price for it? If you find one and it has just the top that you like, every top on this model is going to be a little different. Every top on the Dragon Eye Burst, okay, the red, it's going to be a little different. This blue, if you find one and it's just got the grain characteristic that you want, yeah, pay full price for it. But if you find one like this one, I think the grain's beautiful on this guitar.
Do you think that the Quantum pickups are replicating the V7 and V8 pickups?
I don't. And I'm not saying that based on my opinion. Well, it doesn't sound like the V7s. But my next comment's based on what I heard on Discord, because the Quantums are something that I've been talking about for a while. I don't remember if it was Kurt or who that said the Quantums were Ibanez's version of a DiMarzio, okay? That it was kind of modeled after the DiMarzio pickup. If I'm correct, someone in the comment section down below put, yeah, that's what Ibanez did. The Quantum was modeled after the DiMarzio. If I'm incorrect, someone please post what was the Quantums designed after, because I had heard from people that, you know, I believe they know what they're talking about. They pretty sure that they said that it was designed after the DiMarzio pickup. I like them. We did a test. It's under 9. I know a lot of YouTube channels are always talking about, oh, look, it's 16 at 17K. There's a sound that you get with a pickup like this that's between, you know, 8 and 12. Okay? It's not hitting the amp hard, but when you turn up your preamplifier, they have just a different sound. You can also use a boost pedal. You can use an EQ pedal. So don't be overly concerned that the K rating on these is like 8.75 or something. They sound good. They break up good. You can go back and watch some of our other live streams where I tuned this thing to drop D. The guitar just sounds stupid good. And they're not extremely, it's not a 16K pickup. It's personal taste. So don't let someone say, oh, well, you know, it's an 8K pickup. If you want high output and you want that, you know, punch, you need 16K. I kind of disagree with that. I used to think that way, but after reviewing, we've reviewed over 60 guitars on this channel. After reviewing so many guitars, I've started to realize what is just kind of like BS myth and what actually makes a difference. Does the 16K pickup hit your amp harder? Sure it does. The drawback to it is when you roll back on the volume, you got to roll back to the point where you can't get it clean. And when it does clean up, now you don't have enough gain to push your amplifier.
Mad Hatter says the V8 is 10.5K and the V7 is about 7.5K output.
Yeah, I don't know what it's modeled. I don't know what the Henrys would be. This pickup is right between a third and a half in most cases. You know, Henrys versus K. That's kind of what I'm going after. I mean, I've seen pickups that are well below a half that have a chimey sound, and I've also heard some that sound really warm. This is about as high on the Henrys or an inductance that I like, if that makes sense. When you start getting above on that second number, they start getting a little quacky sounding and a little too edgy sounding. They kind of lose their warmth. But I think these have just enough warmth and just enough tack to them to make them very versatile. And you can roll back that volume. You know, at the beginning when we did the clean, I was really showing you the difference in the tone and controls. The pickups respond well to that. And I think a pickup up to about 12, 13K, it still responds well. Okay? When you go past 13 and you're in 13 to 15, it's kind of hit and miss on being able to roll back that volume and your pick attack to clean up that pickup. If you've had, if you know of a pickup that does well at 16K that you can roll it back and it still responds well and cleans up, I'd be curious. But what I've seen, 16K and above, you kind of lose that. So it's really a personal preference thing. You heard these pickups, I think they do well. I really do. I think the Quantum pickups, Ibanez is making a solid product here. You don't need to really replace these pickups. They sound good. We have them in this one, and we also have an S model over there that have the Quantum pickups in it. And they so far they sound good in every guitar that I've played. We did a review on a PWM 20. And it had very expensive pickups in it. And during that review and after playing the guitar for a week, I made a comment because we had an RGA here. And I made a comment that I liked the Quantums better than what they put in the PWM 20. And the PWM 20 was a $1,500 guitar. So I think the pickups in the guitar work well. And the volume and the tone, I think the tone gets a little dark when you turn it all the way back. There's a huge shift there. But it works. It's very linear. Okay, it's not where it's and it drops off. It's a very linear volume, very linear tone. The switch feels decent. It's a good guitar. If you can get this guitar at, well, really the full map price is fine. But if you can get this guitar under $450, it's a lot of guitar for the money. And like I said, I just looked, and they are on Reverb for $429 right now. I have no affiliate links, so there's no money, no skin. I have no skin in this game on Ibanez. I'm not an Ibanez fanboy. You know, I sent the PWM back due to problems with fit and finish. This is a far better guitar than the PWM 20 was. All right, guys. I need you guys to go down and hit the like button for me. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. And Super Chats is what funds the channel. If you don't know, we are giving away a JS500. All you have to do is be publicly subscribed. And then you need to go to Discord, go to the opt-in room for the guitar giveaway and say, I'd like to be entered in the guitar giveaway. That drawing will be on Saturday night, the 29th. So you have very little time to get in and be signed up for that giveaway. Next Thursday will be the cutoff day. I know that's Thanksgiving. We're probably going to do a live, but Devastator, he's running the Discord channel. I know he's going to be away with family. But Thursday at 12 o'clock midnight is going to be the cutoff. Anything past that time, you will not be entered to win the guitar. There has to be a cutoff. He needs a little time to be able to get all the names on the wheel so we can draw it for Saturday night. Again, guys, thanks so much.
Jerry says, what is a JS500?
The JS500 is made by Jet. It's a very nice guitar. You can go to our main page We just did a review last Thursday night of that guitar, just like we did right here tonight with this guitar. It's a live review of the JS500. It's a great guitar. Sounds great, plays great. It's got a beautiful, before you say anything, it's a beautiful green finish on that guitar. Roasted maple neck on it.
There's a picture posted of it in that section too, right?
Yeah, there's a picture also on the Discord in the guitar giveaway. Doesn't cost anything to enter to win. So go ahead and do that. And I'm going to ask again, thumbs up and subscribe. We're trying to grow the channel. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. Any comments that can improve our live reviews is greatly appreciated. I think we've got a great community here. If you didn't notice, there were no commercials if you watched it live, and you didn't have to be a member to chat. I want you to come in, chat with the group. It's a great bunch of people here. A lot of people come in and out, and it's you, the viewer, that makes the channel. Thanks a lot, guys, and I'll see you guys on Saturday night.